Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where we're poor at juggling and jousting and sword fighting. But mostly, we're poor at making art. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Benj. So today, you might expect us to draw the Renaissance Festival.
Haha.
But we did that last year.
That's right. Go back a year. You'll see it.
Yep. In fact, that's one of my favorite drawings.
Oh.
Because that is
no.
where the saggy mud horse.
It's the 1 year anniversary all about, it seems, of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because just...
So go back. I think we called it Renfest.
Yeah.
Because we're, Renaissance Festival. Way too long to type out.
Yeah, apparently we were lazy that day, especially in my drawing skills.
Yep. And also trying to spell Renaissance.
Oh, gosh. There's N's and S's galore. Just all over the place. But that doesn't mean we can't still draw something related to that. You see, here in Arizona, they're just wrapping up the Renaissance Festival, actually, and we went.
There's 2 more weeks, right?
Yeah, I think so. But we went the latest we have in a long time this year. We were there yesterday all day eating our festival foods and, buying swords and watching Sword Swallower, although at the Sword Swallower show, it actually got canceled yesterday because somebody choked.
Mm-hmm.
True story.
Maybe.
But you might think our drawing title today is going to be a little odd. We're actually going to draw something called London Broil.
Mm-hmm. It's, you might wonder, how is that related to the Renaissance Festival? And if you're a history buff, you might even be thinking, oh, maybe it's related because, the Renaissance is mostly known for England.
England.
That's like the main place that the Renaissance
See, you'd be wrong on both accounts, actually. The London Broil just happens to be the name of our favorite act at the Renaissance Festival. They are the juggling act, which you might say, well, that's lame. Who likes juggling? And you might be right, but they are hilarious jugglers.
Mm-hmm. They are.
And amazingly talented for being jugglers.
Yep. I mean, I can't juggle, and they can juggle impressively.
See, we've been going to the Renaissance Festival for probably over a decade now, and they've always had the London Broil Juggling Show. But until this morning, we hadn't actually looked up what London Broil meant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was interesting to find out, because I was looking up London Broil, and I thought, hey, look, this actually sounds pretty good. It's like marinated steak, sliced in a specific way.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds good. In fact, it sounds so good, there's no way this can be English food.
And if you read a little bit further down in the Wikipedia page, that is actually true.
Yep, it is American food, because England doesn't know how to make good food.
Nope. If you see a food and you think to yourself, that looks good, I might want to try it one day. It doesn't come from England.
Yeah.
If you see like a meat pie filled with liver and tripe, and you think...
And no salt,
no seasoning, and you think to yourself, man, that looks like people shouldn't eat it.
Yeah.
Then it comes from England.
If London Broil came from England, it would just be steak heated up.
Yeah, it would be like
it wouldn't be marinated.
It'd be like a piece of meat that the English person found the day before, dragged inside, and just immediately put in the oven.
Yeah, see, it's a situation where England's rich history does them a disfavor, because they're like, oh, this is traditional food. You mean the food the peasants ate because there was nothing else? That's not like shepherd's pie.
Yep.
Shepherd's pie could be great, but shepherds didn't have salt or pepper or anything. They had whatever meat was lying around.
And due to ye old English tradition, they still don't use any of those things today.
No, just make it good.
Yep. They could. But unfortunately, England is so steeped in tradition, they refuse. But that doesn't stop us from drawing this American dish named after the country we left for better food and fortune.
So, but I'm not going to draw the dish, and I'm also not going to draw jugglers.
You're drawing the Washington Monument.
No, I am drawing the only thing that matters in all of England.
The Queen.
Big Ben.
She rest. What do you say? May. What do you say when somebody dies? May she rest in peace?
Rest in peace? People say that.
That's not what I was thinking of. That may her soul find its way to the pearly gates. That's not it either. May she live on in our memories and our hearts. Yeah.
I was gonna draw like a London landscape.
Have you ever seen Big Ben? It's not pointy.
It's pointy enough.
It's just not. It's flat. As we both rush to our cell phones to prove each other wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to prove you wrong.
Oh, no. I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. But it's not.
Okay, it's pretty pointy. It's pointier than what I did.
Yeah, okay. But it's nobody thinks about that.
What do nobody thinks about that? It's so pointy.
I think of like the square.
It's so pointy.
Benj, you did not draw Big Ben. Come on. You could have given it some amount of effort.
Okay, I'll give it extra points.
That's not how it works. What is that?
It's the second point. I colored in.
Oh my gosh. I'd like to apologize to the entire nation of England.
I would like to not. Because England doesn't deserve an apology.
Yeah, that's right. America.
Make some good food, and then I'll apologize to you.
It's true. Once your national dish isn't a meat pie, and even if you could make a good meat pie, England, but you use the grossest cuts and the least amount of flavor possible. You know, I don't say this too often, but London broil sounds too good. London boil, everything in England just seems like it's boiled to me. You boiled some potatoes, you boiled some vegetables, you boiled some meat, and you just threw it on a plate. Like there was no amount of thought. And if you're British and you're aghast at our American views of your country, well, prove us wrong. Make something good looking.
Go make good food, and we'll believe you.
And I don't count Gordon Ramsay as like a British chef because I'm pretty sure he spends most of his time. World. Yeah, like he spends most of his time in America. Yeah. Like, does he even specialize in British style cooking? Like, that's the thing. You never hear about British style. You hear of like, oh, they're classically trained in the French techniques, but no one's like classically trained in the British boiling technique.
Classically
like,
trained at being bad at cooking.
Yeah. Gordon Ramsay.
See, now that I've looked up a picture, I have to like make it almost similar. I was just gonna draw a clock tower out of my sheer laziness. See, I was going to do like a whole London landscape, but then I was like, no, nobody cares about London. So I was just going to do Big Ben. And then you're like, oh, it has to be accurate.
Did you know that the show that made Gordon Ramsay famous is called Boiling Point?
Because that's all they do?
It's because that's the British style. You just boil it and mash it and stick it in a stew.
And then there's like weirdly
and then somehow it loses flavor in the stew.
Yeah,
because the stew is just more boiling water.
Like
boil it, mash it, and boil it again.
The few amount of flavors that existed are sucked away by the other things.
Make sure you strain it real good, get all the flavor out,
and then put more water in it.
Put it in a dry pastry crust. Bake it till it's
Okay, this is basically what it looks like.
I'm so glad you finally have like a rough, really crappy rendition of Big Ben.
Okay.
Like if you ask, like again, we've said this before on here, but if you ask like a first grader or a kindergartner, hey, draw Big Ben, it would look better. and
then I guess now I have to draw like that building that's like attached to it.
You mean Parliament?
I don't know what it is.
How do you not know what? Come on.
What?
I know we're American and all, but
why would I know anything about England except for how horrible it is?
It's just cold and gray and rainy and not as free as America.
And with no good food.
That's the thing that gets me about England, is like, England is really big into like traditional British food, which tastes like boiled. That's what it tastes like. Boils, but just not that. Boiled.
Yeah.
It has nothing. But then they're also really big into like Indian curry. Like, how do those two share the same town? I mean, to be fair, I've never had a curry in England. Maybe it's like
really gross, flavorless curry.
See, when I think of curry, I think of like tons of spices. Yeah. You know, maybe an English curry is like curry where you have like chicken and vegetables over rice, but it's just they strain out all the all the
flavors.
Yeah, like they just boil it, some chicken and some, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just my guess. I still find it hilarious though that you knew after reading you read the description of what a London broil was, and you're like, wow, that sounds good. I'm surprised it comes from England, and then it just doesn't come from England because that's just how you know.
Yeah, it legitimately. Like, I was surprised it came from England because of how good it sounded, and then was not surprised to find out that it didn't come from England.
Did you know Big Ben actually has 5 bells?
5 bells? Is that why it has like
Big Ben is
roofs?
Big Ben is the largest of the bells. It weighs 15 tons.
Wait, Big Ben is the name of the bell?
Big Ben is the largest of the tower's 5 bells.
I thought Big Ben was the name of the tower itself.
You know, maybe it also is.
But honestly, I kind of refuse to learn about English history. Unless it has to do with the Renaissance Festival, just because that's cool.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think Renaissance Festival is really an accurate depiction.
It's like fantasy
version. It's like wizards and...
Like, nobody actually cares about the real history. Even England doesn't care about, like, the real history. Because, like, watch any King Arthur thing. You know what King Arthur stories are never about? Germanic tribes being taken over by a Roman leader. Because that's what the actual story was about. But no, they take modern English, like, stuff and put it into the story.
Yeah.
So
I much prefer that.
Completely different.
I like the part where they kept their kings and queens so long, and then the colonists rebelled against them and somehow won. And then they got really jealous because we had a president, so they're like, we want one, but we can't call it a president because we're British.
Yeah.
Prime Minister. But we're not going to get rid of our queen and king because we like them spending all of our money.
The one thing I do approve of them doing is their prank that they did on us, where they called, football, they called it soccer. And then they like told us, hey, you should call this soccer. And then they just start making fun of us for calling it soccer because no one else in the world does.
Yep. See, most people don't know that fact either.
It's a pretty good joke.
That England came up with the word soccer. But then they're like, ooh, the Americans. So, like, that's the thing. Like, why do British people not like Americans? Like, they make fun of us. Like, ooh, they're so prosperous and free. Poor them.
Poor them. What? They can actually, like, go to the doctors when they need to? How lame.
What is this? They don't pay most money in taxes to the royal family? But I like being able to point at the palace and say, my yearly taxes funded that gardener's rake.
Yeah. So
what does this have to do with London Broil?
So this is London, represented by Big Ben.
Yeah, it is a version of Big Ben. Like this is like, it's a common thing in movies nowadays to have like alternate universes. This is like somebody like pops up in alternate Earth England, and they're like, well, I don't remember Big Ben having 2 giant triangles on the top.
Well, it does. Look.
It's not the same.
From the right angle, it's the same.
Don't remember it having a plaid shirt on.
But see, if you look up the definition of broil,
it's when you put something on the top rack of the oven and you press that button that makes the top burners come on.
Basically, what broiling is it's like heating something up, but only from like heat, not from like direct flame or anything like it's the heat that cooks something. So the sun
That's a pretty good
is broiling London.
Is it on fire?
In fact, no. This is like
are those streamers?
Heat waves coming off?
No, because all I see now is like giant worms attacking Parliament.
You can think that all you want, but you can actually say like, "Oh, today's broiling." Like that's something that people could say. No one does.
No,
but like
don't.
you could.
They usually say it's boiling out, which is just
but that's wrong. Because it's not boiling.
That's more British though.
But it is broiling.
See, got that extra letter in there.
Yep. Because unless the water is actually evaporating, it's not boiling.
It is broiling though.
It is broiling.
We're entering that time in Arizona right now where it's going to be broiling.
115.
Yep.
Where it literally is broiling.
Yeah, like when you're like, oh, I think I'll have some chocolate chip cookies, but it'd be faster to put them in the front yard than the oven.
Yep. And like your skin cells are dying because 115 is the temperature in which cells die.
Just makes you wonder why we live in Arizona.
It's only 115 for a couple days.
Could be worse. We could live in London.
Yeah, where it's just cold and rainy all the time.
Except for in your drawing where it's
broiling
and being attacked by sky eels.
Yep. So, that's my picture. It was going to be a lot more simple and less detailed than this.
Less detailed, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit, I could tell it's a clock. There's nothing sagging, so I guess you win.
No sagging
anything.
Horses.
You didn't give it a title yet, though.
Oh, yes. It does need a title.
See, during my drawing, we should probably talk about like the Renaissance Festival and not just like hate on England.
It's so hard to not just hate on England.
I don't hate England. I just don't like England. Especially
I just
British
don't like
food.
any aspect of England.
I didn't mind visiting. I visited London for like a week, and I will wholeheartedly say that the worst thing about my trip was the 1 or 2 times we ate like British food.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things I ate in England was a Whopper at Burger King.
I have a question since you've been there. Is it like illegal to buy salt? Like, do you go to the store and like there's no salt, so you have to go out back and find the guy with like a trench coat?
I remember that there was lots of trench coats.
Just like the seasoned salesman.
Yeah, the seasoning salesman. It's like the black market. You can buy salt and freedom.
Salt and freedom.
Yeah, it's like salt with like an American flag on it. Freedom salt. Freedom salt. It's a revolution for your taste buds.
Well, let's see what you have to draw.
We just took a break here in between switching over who's drawing, and we went back and looked at my drawing
of the Renaissance Festival.
Festival a year ago. I feel like I should have apologized back then. I might have apologized back then, but I'd like to reissue the apology for what you had to see.
Please, if you haven't watched that episode, the Renaissance Festival episode from last year, go watch it.
We just laughed our heads off for like 10 straight minutes at just how bad my drawing was.
It is the worst thing.
It's the worst thing I've ever drawn.
Mm-hmm. It It might be the worst thing I've ever seen.
It was so bad. Oh man!
Like, we make fun of Isaac, as you guys all know,
And
for
Benj.
his saggy butt horse style.
That's true.
Yeah, we make fun of me for different reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
But the saggy butt horse style, we make fun of Isaac all the time for that. I was so focused on that I forgot about everything else in that drawing. So we sometimes ask you guys to comment on here, and the logical thing to ask you guys to comment is like your favorite, Renaissance thing, or like why London isn't as bad as we think it is. But I want you to come on and comment what thing you hated most about Isaac's drawing in the Renaissance Festival.
Oh, there's so much to choose from. There's so much to choose from. I'm not even sure what my least I can't. There's nowhere you can look on it that's safe. You look at the dude on the horse; he's just gross. You look at the horse; no part of the horse is redeemable.
The guy's arm is weirdly placed. The hand mangler did extra duty on that.
Visited that man more than once.
And his club or turkey leg or whatever it was that he was holding. Just go watch that video.
Yeah, I want to know your opinions, and if you've never seen it, it's pretty much the epitome of this channel summed up in one horrifying, monstrous drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But London Broil, if you haven't seen London Broil, look them up too. London Broil Juggling, they are incredibly talented and hilarious. And
if you're ever at the Renaissance Festival, I believe they travel with the Renaissance Festival. I'm not confident in that answer.
I think they do. I think they go to like Pennsylvania's and
So wherever you live, if you have a Renaissance Festival, check to see if they go there, and go see their act.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
It is. It's really the best thing at the Renaissance Festival.
I like theirs because there's other good acts. And if you were to just compare first time seeing their act with other acts, you may disagree and say that there's other acts that are better. But the thing is, I've been going to the Renaissance Festival for like the last, at least 20 years, even a little bit more than that. And I've basically never missed a year, other than like a few exceptions here and there. And most of the acts are the exact same as they were 20 years ago. They haven't changed anything.
Nope.
But the London Broil is different every single time.
Yeah.
Like you could go there every day and it will be at least a little bit different.
Yeah, because they're very quick on their feet, like with jokes or like just quick-witted in general.
Yeah.
Not to mention their last juggling show of the day every time is completely based on what people in the audience tell them they should be doing.
Yeah, and most of it's audience interaction where they have to make jokes, either at the audience's expense or based on what the audience says, and it ends up being hilarious, and unique.
We were saying this yesterday after we saw them. We're like, we would go see them even if they didn't juggle. Like, yeah, the juggling is great and all, and it's what makes them like Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, and it's something to talk about, so they're not just like coming up with jokes off of nothing. But yeah, no, they're like a funny improv group.
Yeah, that also happens to be really good at juggling.
Yeah,
it's very true. So this guy is juggling. In case you can't tell, he has a ball in that hand. And over here, what is you have like those club things, right? Like that's what it looks like, a bowling
pin.
Basically
just a bowling pin, but probably weighted differently.
It's like, ooh. Fat, skinny pin.
And that's not what they look like, but that's something. You could juggle whatever that thing is.
yeah, it's new. And then they have like a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not the most important thing. This guy's going to be juggling some London Broil.
London Broil.
It's like a slab of meat.
I'm glad you told us beforehand because I doubt will be able to look at this and be like, oh yeah,
it basically just kind of looks like a brisket.
Mm-hmm.
This one will have like you can see the inside,
mm-hmm.
and there'll be like a piece of it hanging off, like it's been sliced but not all the way through.
Right, with the knife that he's juggling.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Is that what is he
dripping on him?
Like just slicing it? He should.
Yeah, he's like preparing it.
Yeah.
This is a fancy pepper mill. Has a P on it for pepper. This is like just like an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's juggling all this with one hand.
Yeah.
This just has like a bite out of it.
He's just like eating an apple while preparing some
London Broil.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
juggling.
It has seasoning on it because it's not from England. There we go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would be impressed by that act.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I bet AJ could do it.
AJ is the best. They even talk about it in the show that AJ is just like the best juggler of the three of them.
Yeah.
Like their last show of the day, like we said, they do like random crazy things. They're like, can you juggle well laying on your back? And they're like, well, AJ can, we can't. One of the other guys tried, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Can you guys juggle like blindfolded? Yeah, well, AJ can. Like, they're all talented, but he's just like a prodigy.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when AJ like first was on it, and he wasn't the best, like compared to like Matt and Louie, he was like the new guy.
Yeah,
but
he's
now,
not the new guy anymore.
He's definitely not the new guy anymore.
All right,
they got a new guy.
They do have a new guy. They have to like train him up so that eventually they can all retire and the show can keep going. All right, so that guy's juggling some London Broil.
Mm-hmm.
This guy over here, though. See, I know you're going to go watch my other video, but it feels wrong to draw Renaissance Festival without at least a nod to that. So we're gonna make a dude.
I'm afraid.
See, in this area, we're missing something.
I might turn away.
I'm questioning what I'm gonna do here. I think I'll come back to that part. It's just, yeah. That might not work out the way I hoped it would. It's just really strangely shaped.
Guy. Oh. I should have looked away. Oh no! Okay. Just everything about it, like his elbow is so far away.
It's just how he was born. This guy has a cell phone. He's like holding it like you do with your two pointers. He's like pinching it.
The other finger just disappeared.
There's an ear on the side of his head. Hey, which way is he facing now? That was hard to tell.
That looks like a nose to me. He's just facing towards us.
You know what? I can draw it that way if you prefer.
Just staring us down.
He's like sort of looking at that, but he's also scared. So he's got his mouth kind of closed. He's going, it's like, ooh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about what I'm watching. And I have the haircut like Artuck. But most importantly,
the final part.
Oh yeah. See this is oh.
It's like he has a tail, but we know it's not.
It's a butt. It's a saggy butt. I don't know how to fix it.
How did he get his pants made?
Maybe if it has a... I'm sorry about that. See, it's better almost if I do it on purpose, isn't it? I think it is. He's just watching the show.
Like, why does he go out in public?
I don't know. You know who else is watching this show?
I recognize that.
He's actually a little better shaped this time around.
Slightly less bird features.
Yeah. Yeah. How you draw a horse hoof?
I think you just don't. I don't think they have a. I think camels have toes like that.
It has like a horseshoe on it.
It's both of its feet.
He's clapping. Oh, gosh. This guy is like... What's he standing on? He's on like a hill. As you do with your jugglers.
Mm-hmm. He's also on a hill.
I don't know where they are. Somehow.
What? There's just like pits.
I mean, it's like a strange stage. There's like alligators down here in the moats. It's like splashes from the alligator pits. And some from down there.
I don't think they would eat saggy butt guy.
Saggy butt guy, they'd probably just like grab his butt. Maybe it's like a gecko. The butt just falls off. It's like a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm. It could be.
Juggler looks relatively normal.
Yeah, I mean, it's like ears that are just part of his face.
It's normal. This guy doesn't have ears. They're in the back of his head. You got saggy butt horse clapping over there. You got saggy butt man over here.
Mm-hmm. Recording it or something, I guess.
I mean, and you got the London Broil. He's juggling the London.
Yeah.
I mean, I got everything I intended.
Yeah.
This is so much better than the other drawing, too.
Yeah, people every once in a while tell us that, like, we're getting better, and I don't believe them. But looking at this drawing compared to your drawing 1 year ago, I'm not going to disagree.
See, the thing is
better.
That we're never good. Sometimes we're just way worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Because this is still poor art. But last year, that was the poorest of art.
Yeah, there's sometimes, I don't know if we're just tired or lazy or just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, the fact that when I looked at the file name of last year, it was Ren Fe. We didn't even finish the word fest. I think it was a laziness.
I mean, you can tell because we didn't even type out Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, well, already that was lazy. We didn't even finish the word fest.
Yeah, it was
though.
just fe.
It was just a Ren Fe.
F-E.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
That's how lazy we were that day. I mean, to be fair, whenever we do these Renaissance Festival drawings, it's always like right after we came back from the Renaissance Festival, or like the day after we came back from the Renaissance Festival, and we're tired because we were walking around all day in the relative heat. I mean, this year the weather was beautiful, but the sun was still out.
Yeah, I mean, we're still tired. Our drawing hands have not quite recovered from the clapping we did at the joust.
Yeah.
And our eyes are still sunburned.
I don't know if that happens. I mean, sure it can.
I think it's just called going blind.
That might be a good excuse for last year's drawing.
Yeah, we were
temporarily blind.
Yeah, blind. I added 2 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You can interpret those hearts 2 different ways. Number 1 is that they both love that the guy is juggling and preparing London broil while eating an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Could also interpret it as like the horse and the saggy butt man found someone else that looks like them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like
I'm
not alone. Yeah, it's like the camaraderie of like, we both were brought here to watch this juggler next to the alligator pits for a reason. They're just going to go their own separate ways because there's no way they can get across those moats.
No, I mean, they're done for.
The juggler has to be airlifted out later. London Broil. Go check them out.
Yep. They're better than we are.
That's just everyone.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're talking about them today. When we talk about someone else, we'll also say they're better than us. In fact, they're probably better at drawing than us.
On that happy note, true. Happy note. Goodbye.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.